I thought America was a Christian country. So how can you have a Christian country where the prophets of the religion are mocked to the highest possible levels within the confines of the country, and it's promoted? Is that a Christian country? Doesn't seem like a Christian country to me. I don't think the same thing would happen with Islam in Saudi Arabia. I can't imagine that happening.
They all circulated the clip of me taking a bite out of the Quran. They always leave out what led to it, except for the people who are rebuking Muhammad Hijab. But back then, Muhammad Hijab announced that he's launching a campaign. He's telling his hundreds of thousands of followers, we're going to start a new campaign where we actually go after people's wives. Instead of going after the critic of Islam directly, instead go after their wives. And I said, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to make you stop because I'm going to take a bite out of your Quran. I can do this all day. And then he actually stopped. He stopped doing it. All his followers stopped. And then they all run, oh my goodness, he took a bite out of our book. One, it was because of what you did. Two, I'm trying to stop evil, right? Isn't that what, I mean, Tate is saying we should be taking a stand on these issues. What's insane is they all seem to think that, if Christians would just man up and take a stand, they're going to stand against the exact same things that we're standing against. That's why we're making fun of Christians for being too soft. You don't realize, guys, do you know how far up on the list of things we would want to respond to? That's what I don't get it. It's like they're saying we want a muscular Christianity to respond to evil. Your prophet is the source of a lot of the evil we would respond to. So be careful of what you wish for, because you get Christians standing up saying we're not putting up with this anymore. Guess what? When one person does that, you all start crying like, baby, we can't believe he did this.
So we are standing up against evil on both sides. Muslims are just mad. We are now also going against the evil crap they promote, like child marriage. So we're against it all across the board.
Why would you want to insult the prophet for billions of people? Why would you want to do that? I don't want to make the argument against free speech. I'm not even saying you couldn't be allowed to. This is a sensitive subject. I'm just saying, what kind of person wakes up and thinks?
He just said, I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to or couldn't be allowed to commit blasphemy.
Just want to do that. I don't know. I just don't think that's a healthy mindset.
So when he says, like, what kind of person wakes up wanting to draw pictures of Muhammad just to be disrespectful? Is that what's going on? Is that what they do? Everybody just wakes up and the idea pops in their head and they say, hey, I'm going to draw pictures of Muhammad? Of course, that's not what they do. There's the reason why they're doing it are the reasons which Tate would respect, because in their mind, they're doing what Tate thinks he's doing when he's standing up against the LGBT stuff. Because he always talks about the people who are trying to, ironically, the people who are controlling. There's quotes of him saying this in one of the videos I did on him. He says the people who are trying to control are always the bad guys. And so he says we have to resist, we have to stand up, we have to be masculine, we have to be macho and stand up against those people. So what do we have? The reason why people are drawing pictures of Muhammad is because we're saying, no, you're not going to bully us into not being able to disrespect you and your religion when you flat out disrespect us and our beliefs and our religions. That's why people wake up and say, yeah, you're not going to get away with it. You're not going to have special requirements for you. So that's why we're going to draw pictures of Muhammad. That's their mindset. Now, I'm not saying that I think people should do that. I mean, depending on the situation, but I'm not advocating for that. But my point here is just simply like,
weren't you an Islamicized me? Weren't you an Islamicized me?
yeah, exactly.
Right? Haven't you been in Muhammad's boom boom room? Haven't you been?
I have, and there's a reason for it, right? Yeah. What is the reason? Why too? And this is what I'm saying. So, like, for him to think that like there couldn't be any other reason besides maliciousness is just not true.
In Christian countries, there's more respect for Islam than there is for Christianity. In a Christian country, name one. They still don't do it with the Islamic prophet.
Why do you think that is?
It's too much smoke.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the heat. And shouldn't God be feared? I'm scared of God. It's the only thing I fear.
He always seems to me like he's 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like he's looking at a world 20 years ago. Who's scared of making fun of Islam right now? I mean, go on Twitter. It's everywhere. My goodness. And lots of people's reasons for not, I mean, you do have people in newspapers and so on who didn't want to republish cartoons and so on. Lots of people, their concern was that they were taught that Muslims are the victims, right? And that the West is the one that's victimizing them and so on. So they don't want to make fun of Muhammad. And now, because of the Dawah guys, they're finding out what Islam teaches and people are mocking it more and more. I mean, my goodness, go on. Notice, this is the same guy who said, who, when someone ripped up matter of fact, it was that specific instance that Satanist ripped up a Bible, and he tweets, go ahead and try that with the Quran, see what happens. And then everyone starts posting videos of them doing it with the Quran. YouTube, Twitter, everywhere, and he takes down the tweet. What's that mean? It means by the time he recorded this, he knew that was nonsense. He knew it was nonsense that people are terrified of offending Islam. So yeah,
well, and on top of it too, he talks about they fear God, but I don't think people are afraid of God when they decide to mock Muhammad. They're not afraid of, they don't believe in Allah. You know what I mean? What they're afraid of is being murdered, if anything. If they're afraid of something getting murdered because people can't take criticism, right, of their religions.
Yeah,
so
or
that's not
even more so. The bigger issue is they don't want to be called an Islamophobe, right? They're scared of being called Islamophobes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're afraid of other people, not Allah.
So God should be feared. So once again, does anybody fear the Christian God? I haven't seen anybody scared of him in a long time.
But he talked in the video about how no one fears the Christian God. I'm like, well, the first thing that the thought came to my mind was that, no, the Romans weren't scared of Jesus when they were crucifying him. That was the point. God was not showing his power to make them afraid because he was demonstrating his love. And that's what the church is teaching. God is pushing judgment off and is going to continue to, so he can keep saving as many people as he possibly can. It's not about fear and power. It's about humility and love. So he doesn't understand the basics of Christianity.
Well, it's relationship rather than rules, right? Ultimately, it's like God is God. The whole Bible is about God's plan to redeem humanity in the sense to rightly relate them with God. And so entering into right relationship is far more important because the motivation for doing the right thing is completely different than it is in every other religion, including Islam. Because now you're motivated by love, the same way you do with your wife, like the example I gave earlier. The reason why you're good to your wife is out of love, not out of fear that she could hurt you. Or, I mean, maybe some guys are motivated too out of your wife leaving you or something like that. It could be fear in that sense. But ultimately, I think in the Christianity, it's like the more secure we are, the more that we choose to do right for God out of thankfulness, out of love, out of respect, and all of those things. So.
Yeah, and I mean, notice, Islam is the most feared and respected, and they won't try that. And it's like he's saying don't kill, but I mean the entire reason anyone would at all be concerned, because keep in mind, notice Muslim countries, they're not obeying out of fear of Allah. They're obeying because they don't want to get their heads chopped off. That's why. That's the only reason. And over here, you either have people are worried about being killed, or more likely they're worried about being called Islamophobes and so on. Yeah, those are not good reasons to respect anything, right? Those just aren't good reasons to respect it. So anyways, his reasons are garbage. And again, if he wants to say this, what do you do? Look at Pakistan. They're literally crying on stage, on television, primetime TV, moaning and wailing about the hundreds of thousands of people who are posting stuff all over the internet, insulting their God. Good luck with that stuff. We should probably wrap up here in a second.
Mainly Muslims, it's a huge Islamic community, and there was a bunch of English people who were complaining about there's too much immigration, we're losing our culture, and I understood their point absolutely. But these are the same people complaining about all the left-wing LGBT in schools and all these issues. And also, the only allies you have against this are the Muslims. They're the only allies you have in any of this.
Yeah, they want to marry your kids.
Christians don't protest against any of this stuff.
Look at that. Christians don't protest against it. Guys, have you seen? Yeah. Isn't this weird? It's like it's. I don't know what he's paying attention to. When I think of people who are active in dealing with LGBTQ stuff, it's like I'm thinking like Matt Walsh, everyone at the Daily Wire. So those kinds of people. If you're talking about politics, I'm thinking like who? Ron DeSantis, Ted Cruz. Basic political conservatives are the ones who have a problem with various issues and who are responding to it. And it's like, where are you getting the idea? It's only Muslims. Only Muslims. Muslims are the only ones who are going to have a problem with any of this, and everyone else just rolls over and they go to their LGBTQ pastor and blah 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 blah. It's like, do you know how massively you're misrepresenting? So, guys, here's the actual situation. In every group has kind of a spectrum of people. That's why you'll have LGBTQ mosques and so on. Every group within Christianity, you'll have all kinds of people. You'll have people who are extremely concerned about this. You'll have people who don't care too much about it. You'll have the same thing in a Jewish community, Hindu community. Guess what? Atheist community. You do have people in the atheist community who are concerned. You have people in the LGBTQ community who are saying, hey, let's keep this stuff away from kids and so on. Yeah. So you have this in every group. Somehow it's the same exact thing when they talk about the Quran. They can't just say the Quran's been well preserved. They have to massively misrepresent everything and distort it and exaggerate. It's the only perfectly preserved book down to the letter. They have to make something up. They can't just say, hey, Muhammad's our prophet. He's the greatest man who ever lived. They have to make something up. And hey, if you've got a problem, any problem that you see in society, Islam is the only thing that can stand up against it. Everyone else will just bow down before it. Dude, you sound like an idiot. Do we need to keep watching this or should we go and wrap up? What do you guys think?
I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because all the stuff he says is kind of like that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like he doesn't do any type of research or thinking, and he doesn't do this for most of his time for work like how we do. But it just looks really irresponsible because all the stuff he says, I'm always thinking where are you getting that from? You're just saying stuff that you've heard from just the Dawa guys. That's the only place where I recognize what he's saying. And yeah, so it just sounds like these big generalizations, equivocations, not a failure to make distinctions, so all kinds of issues like that. But
actually, I think he's about to say it. I think he's about to say he doesn't have a problem with gay people and so on. Yeah, I think he's about to say that.
There's very few Christians who will get up off their ass and complain. In fact, I saw on Twitter yesterday, one of the churches was lit up in rainbow. I have nothing against gay people. I don't care.
Oh, really?
And that's actually another point.
You don't want to kill them like in Islam?
This thing. I think most people don't care, and I think that bothers them.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had an argument with a girl? And she's like stropping around the house. She's huffing and puffing, and you just don't give a shit. So she has to keep upping the ante till you eventually go, what's the problem? Because she tried the low-level stuff, and you didn't care.
So Tate here is arguing that LGBTQ people are just in it for attention. That may be true in certain cases, in other cases not. But his theory that he lays down here is that people were gay for attention, and then when they stopped getting attention for that, they wanted to do, they had to keep going further just for attention. So let's see.
I kind of feel like this has a remnants of that. I'm gay. Cool. I want to get married. I want to wave my dick in your kid's face. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I feel like they tried to annoy us, and we're like, we don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. Be a person.
Is that Islam? We'll do whatever you want.
Okay, well, we have to get to a limit where they have to react. Yeah. We want attention now. We want them to care about
What's
this.
the right move on that?
Well, that's the point. You know, it's difficult.
Oh, did you catch that? Oh, let's see if he offers anything else, because that's actually huge.
There comes a point where you simply have to address it, and now you have to oppose it. And this is sorry to interrupt you, but this is why they're so careful and so clever with what they do. They package it all together. LGBTQ. I would argue
this is that's actually what I want to cover. Look at what he said. He said he says he has no problem with gay people. He'd have a gay friend, no problem with that. So doesn't believe they should be killed or anything. But he draws the line when you want to put your privates in his kid's face. Guys, I'm not familiar with your specific views on this. Yeah. That sounds like exactly my position, right?
Yeah, agreed.
If you're gay guys,
this is the big thing.
Yeah, you're gay guy. If you got two gay guys and they're doing something, I'm not your boss. I'm not your boss. I'm not there to control you. I'm not going to go kill you. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I generally don't care. If you want to if you're a man and you want to dress up like a woman, or you want to transition, I'm not your boss.
Or wear your wife's nightie.
Yeah, like Muhammad.
Wear your wife's nightie.
Yeah, like Muhammad. But if you're saying, oh, now I want to go and do stuff, in front of your kid or something like that, that's where I draw the line. And Tate's acting like he's got some brilliant insight here. That's a pretty that's probably the dominant position, right? Like if you're gay, well, okay, this is the United States of America. No one's stopping you from being gay here and so on. Oh, now we've got this new thing where all of a sudden people are doing drag queen story hour and stuff like this, and people are shocked. But you got to figure out what to do about this exactly, because you don't want to just go out on a killing spree. You want to do what? You want to deal with it by protests or by through the legal system or something like that. You don't want to run out and go on a protest. But guess what? Notice what is he saying here? He's saying, hey, don't go kill all these people, but we've got this new situation. We have to figure out how to deal with that. That's pretty much. I mean, again, there are LGBTQ people who agree completely with what he just said right there. Who agree?
There's a whole YouTube channel on it. It's called Gays Against Groomers, and there's a whole YouTube channel, and all of them are saying that.
And they're saying something. What he just said about putting all the letters together so that you can't respond to drag queen story hour without attacking like the entire community. You've got the LGBs without the T's. You got that slogan. You've got the Gays Against Groomers. So anyway, the point is, you have a spectrum in every group. You have a spectrum of different people in Christianity, in Islam, among atheists, among Buddhists, Jews, even in the LGBTQ community. You have people who are saying, okay, so here are the rules for adults. Here's something else for kids. And somehow in his mind, he's got some great insight right here, and he's giving the knowledge, and Islam is the only thing that can do this. Whereas, notice, Islam, the solution in Islam would just be kill all of them. And of course, people are going to keep doing it on the internet, and so you're never actually going to stop them. And how is this helpful at all? Is this helping any? Is this changing anything? This is weird. That's weird stuff.
And we should be clear too. The purpose of this is not to say that we're bashing Tate as a new Muslim because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Obviously, we know more about what we're talking about than he does because we've been doing this as full time for a long time. But the issue is that these are the reasons that he's giving for why Islam is better or true-ish in whatever kind of way he means true. But that's the problem. The problem is less about Tate. It's not really about Tate. It's the things that he's saying and the problems with it that we're addressing, not Tate specifically.
And notice what he said at the end there. The other guy said, okay, so what's the solution? Tate goes, well, that's the problem. It's hard. Right.
Exactly.
That's it. And it's hard. It's hard for Christians because we don't believe in just going around slaughtering everyone who disagrees with us, right? So you have for Christians, we're supposed to believe that everyone, all human beings, are all created in the image of God. We're commanded, honor all people. Honor all people. That's 1 Peter 2:17. There's not honor just your fellow Christians. Honor all people. And you're commanded to love your enemies. And for some reason, any Muslim who hears that, they all go, oh, so you're saying if someone's just coming in and raping and killing your wife, you'll just sit there because you love him. Yeah, so notice, massively stupid and insane view of love. I mean, following that, like, I don't know how they raise kids. Like I said, do you love your kids? Oh, of course I love my kids. Right. Oh, so if your kid was burning the house to the ground, you just let him because you love him? Oh, it doesn't mean anyone can do anything they want. But notice, it's not, we do not believe we have the authority to go around slaughtering everyone who disagrees with us. And so we generally try to respect people's rights as much as possible, but we also believe that governments do have authority to enforce laws and so on. And so you've got this new thing that comes along, and it's drag queen story hour and stuff like this. How do we respond? Well, we don't want to run out. We don't want to run out and start slaughtering people. We want to lay down rules, and you got to figure out where the lines are at. Guess what? That's difficult. That's going to take some time to figure out because this is a new thing. But then you got people like Tate who come in there and say, even though I don't believe in killing, and I have no problem with gay people, and I only have a problem with shaking things in my kid's face. We all need to convert to Islam because it's the only thing that can deal with this. By what? Slaughtering everyone. That's what you said you shouldn't do. So notice what he's saying is it's a difficult situation, and you got to figure out where the lines are. That's what everyone says. That's the standard position as far as I can tell. Anyway, this is extremely sloppy. Somehow Muslims look at all of that. Yay, our hero, he's slam dunk case. All right, fine. Yeah. Let's get to our final thoughts on all of this. IP, you're lagging seriously. Let's see, but I've been hearing you clearly most of the time. So.
Yeah, I'm lagging like really bad, so
that's fine. I hear you.
It's clear Tate does not understand Christian history. Yeah, it's clear he doesn't understand Christian history, Christian ethics. As I've been saying before, the Dalwaganists, they constantly think Christianity is supposed to be like diet Islam, and they don't realize that the ethics of Islam and Christianity are opposed in so many ways. And what Muslims do is they just go, well, that's because you've been corrupted by liberalism. No, we created liberalism. Get with the program. You need to actually do some research here. We created it. The problem is when it was taken away from Christianity and secularized. That's what we're against. But we're not going to oppose the basis of liberal values. We're going to oppose how it's been misused. So this is just a massive problem in the Dalwaganist community. They don't understand the basics of Christian history, let alone Christian ethics.
Yeah, and this is an ongoing problem because you look at Andrew Tate, and he doesn't know much of what he's talking about when he's talking about religion or anything else. But you got his fans, so they love what he says, and it's wild. There are all sorts of things he could talk about where you could actually listen to him, and he knows. Like if he were to talk about kickboxing, okay, he was a champion kickboxer. Talk about kickboxing, and I would take you seriously because if you're talking about physical fitness, the dude is massive and pretty shredded. So you could actually know what you're talking about. If you're talking about discipline, well, generally, if you become a champion fighter and so on, you have good discipline. That's why he can talk about things like, hey, quit playing video games all the time and work out and so on. There are all these areas you could talk about, but people always make the same mistake. This goes back. I mean, this is in Plato's Apology, where Socrates was going around trying to find out who was wise, and over again he kept saying people had no clue what they were talking about, but they thought that because they're a great poet, therefore they know what they're talking about, or because they were craftsmen, they knew what they're talking about, or because they were politicians, therefore they knew what they were talking about. And he said, and they didn't, but their fans couldn't tell the difference either. The fans said, oh, he's such a great poet, therefore he knows what he's talking about. And same problem still today. All right, John, final thoughts here.
Yeah, I guess when I think about all of it, it kind of comes down to the gospel in so many different ways. But I mean, even when you see all these, like Tate's complaint was like, oh, Christians don't take sin seriously. And you see Muslims saying this all the time, right? Oh, they because you can just do whatever. I think in Islam, I feel like they don't take sin seriously enough because if Allah can just blink at sin, right? It's like you're doing all these things and he arbitrarily just forgives. He's like, oh, okay, the good ways outweighs the bad. He's arbitrarily did. That's not perfect justice, because perfect justice entails that every single sin gets punished. You know what I mean? So that's perfect justice. But in Christianity, God is also perfectly merciful, and those come together at the cross. So he's not just dismissing sin in Christianity, where in Islam, he has to arbitrarily forgive sins in some sense. So justice truly isn't served. So in my mind, that kind of refutes this whole kind of point too from a Christian perspective. And that's just what makes sense to me. So yeah, I guess I just kind of, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, if you look at what's going on here, I really think it's the same strategy that Islam has had for a long time, that they see a problem in a society, and then they'll run in there and present Islam as the solution, even though Islam is most certainly not the solution. So you go back in the 60s, you had the race issues in the United States. Islam stepped in there and said, Islam is a religion of equality and so on. It's absolute nonsense. Muhammad bought, owned, sold, and traded black African slaves, and his followers started the sub-Saharan slave trade way before the United States was even a thing. And somehow they go in there, we're the religion that solves this problem in society. And they're doing the same thing. Oh, here's this thing that you all are concerned about. Islam is the only thing that can deal with this. And 2 years from now, it'll be a different problem. And then they'll come, Islam is the only thing that can deal with this. And Islam what is Islam actually the solution to? I'm not aware of any problem that Islam is actually the solution to, because no matter what the problem is, you don't want the solution to be worse than the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't want the solution to be worse than the problem. All right. Well, IP dropped out because of internet problems, but he was already done and gave his final thoughts. So anyway, I hope everyone, guys, regardless of your position, pay attention to what people are saying, and don't listen to the cadence of their voice or how much you like them. Try to figure out the argument they're making and try to figure out what the evidence is that shows that they're right. And if people would just get that tactic down, like, okay, the person is claiming this. What evidence did he provide for this? What is his reasoning? Does the conclusion follow from the premises? Pretty much everything someone like Tate says when he's talking about religion is going to fall apart, whether he's talking about Christianity or Islam, because he has no clue what he's talking about. Again, other issues, if he's talking about other issues, he may be the best in the world at talking about something I don't know. But on this issue, my goodness, he sucks. Stop believing people who don't know what they're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. And most importantly, learn to study this stuff for yourself. Especially you fans of the Dawa guys. I have to say, I've never seen such big liars on the planet in my entire life as the Dawa guys, who feel absolutely free to lie anytime. Part of that reason is because you guys, the fans, don't hold them accountable. They lie and you just cheer them on. So learn to spot it, call them out on it, and you'll end up with more honest people talking to you. And then people like Tate, if you hold them to account when they say something false, hopefully they get better and more accurate because they don't like being made fun of, assuming he doesn't just end up in prison. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope this helped out with some issues, and catch you all next time.
See you guys.